Welcome back to another JK Let's Play. I have another video request. So today we're diving into random Stardew Valley facts that are going to save you time, energy, or money, especially if you're new or just haven't noticed these details before. So let's get right into it. We will start off with a simple one, which is that if you don't go to bed before midnight, the next day your energy isn't fully restored. So definitely keep that in mind when you're trying to maximize your time. If you're in a spot where you have a lot of resources and you're able to restore your energy that way the next day, by all means stay out as late as you can. But if you don't and you rely on your full bar of energy, make sure to go to bed before midnight. I always say hold out for artisan or at least to process things. So if you're selling your crops and milks outright, just wait until you can make those artisan machines. So turn them into wine, jelly, or cheese. It's going to make you more money. And if you have the budget for it, I sometimes wait until I get level 10 farming and I have the artisan profession so I can sell them for even more. That's depending on your playstyle though. Next is watch the Weather Channel, because you shouldn't be watering your crops when it's raining. Obvious, right? Well, not for everyone. If it's raining, go fishing, go mining, anything but the crop maintenance. Just let Mother Nature do the work. And if it's gonna rain the next day, it's a good time to upgrade your watering can, because then you know you're not gonna need it for at least the next day. You might skip one day of watering. You should be fine as long as you didn't plant your crops really late. Next is the menu options are often overlooked. In the settings, I would suggest turning on always show hit tool location. Trust me, if you didn't have it on, you were basically hitting blind with everything. And in the mobile settings, it's even more important to play around with these. There's options as far as what your controls are going to be like. So you can, there's the tap to move, there's the joystick buttons, there's different combinations. Try out the different ones and see what your preference, because the default method doesn't let you place anything on tables. I had a few people on a video I did a while back asking or saying that they couldn't on mobile, and that is the reason why. So go into the settings and change those to your preference. Alright, Junimos still hang out even if they're off duty. There is a button that you can toggle on and off for the Junimos to collect the crops. It's definitely helpful for mostly when you're trying to get giant crops. You don't want them to collect them because it does help when they stay to be able to develop into the giant crop. So if you're trying to get giant crops and you have Junimos, toggle that off. It's really cute because they still hang out outside, but they won't pick anything. Big chests are a thing and are easy to transfer. So if you have an old chest and you're gonna upgrade it, do not move everything manually. Just take the big chest and plop it right on top of the other one. Even if there's a different color on the old chest, it will also take that into account and it will take on the new color. And another one is also the decaying fences. Same thing, you don't have to take the old one out or chop it down manually. Just take the new fence and put it right on top. You can place torches straight onto sprinklers and fences. That way you can light your way without having to take up a spot on the farm. And on top of it, I don't actually make these, I steal them all from the mines. Push for the bulletin task early on, because the 12th prize is one of two machines, either a fish smoker or a dehydrator, and both of those recipes are 10,000, so you can save that early on in the game, at least for the first machine. I usually end up buying it anyway to make more later on in the game, but in the beginning it saves you a bit of money. The dresser is functional and unlimited. Not all of the farm types come with a dresser right away, but it's something that you can add in later, and it is unlimited. You can put all of your clothes, your boots, and even all of the rings to save chest space. Lightning rods are super important. Get them as early as you can because they do destroy things on your farm, including chests. So if you have a chest full of things that just disappears, that could be a reason. The community center button. I can't tell you how many times I ran all the way to the community center to see what I was still missing. Or playing co-op, having a person there and then having someone at home collecting the stuff that we needed. There's a quicker way. You can see all of the bundles by clicking on this button here, and you can look through all of them, and on top of it, if you're hovering over items, it will pulse if it's still required for the community center. So that should save you a lot of time. In another video, I mentioned that truffles get you XP, and I had no idea. I want to point out something else as well, because If you don't collect truffles on the 28th when the seasons change over, they do disappear. So if you're like me and you don't collect them every day, you just kind of let them sit and accumulate, make sure you're at least collecting them when the seasons are changing. Here is a multiplayer tip in case you have someone you're playing with that logs off or doesn't play for a couple days and you need something in their inventory, or they walk off with one of the tools or whatever the reason. If you go to the mayor's house, there's a lost and found box, and there you can actually retrieve items from the offline farmhands, which is a setting that I had no idea about. And it's not only good if someone accidentally takes something that you need, but it's also helpful if you're upgrading any of your tools and you need an extra one. You can just go in here and borrow one from there. When you go to Skull Cavern, take a chest and an extra TV with you. Always start off with more than one cabin, and you can take the TV and put it in places like the mines and Skull Cavern, so that way if you're gonna stay the night and do another run, you can see what the fortune is the next day. I can't tell you how many times I ran all the way to Robin's on a Tuesday just to realize that she was closed. Lucky for people like us, there is a workaround. There is 2 times that she passes by her counter, one in the morning at 9:40 a.m. and when she returns to the shop at 8 p.m. So I'll show you how to do it at night. You just have to get there before 7:50, I would say, because you can't get into the house after 8 p.m. And you just stand right by the counter, and as she passes by, you can use it. You can only get XP from panning or breaking rocks, and it doesn't matter if you use a pickaxe or a bomb. However, there is generic rocks inside of the mines that don't give you any XP unless coal is dropped, meaning that most of the rocks inside the mines are actually generic rocks, except for these 2. Any of the gem nodes, of course, do give you XP, and that varies depending on the gem. And if you're breaking rocks outside of the mines, they do give you 1 XP. So in the mines, unless you're trying to get a ladder, don't waste your time breaking any of the generic rocks. The wood chippers are actually not just for hardwood. You can put driftwood in them as well, and they'll give you 5 to 10 pieces. So definitely save your driftwood instead of trashing it. Either recycle it, put it in the chipper, or give it to Leia. It's one of her liked gifts. Next is the oil maker. It's not just for truffles. You can put things like corn, sunflower seeds, and even sunflowers. Although it's definitely not a big money maker by any means. Alright, we're almost there. The next one is text signs. Text signs. They're pretty cheap to make, and you can actually even steal them from Pam after you've unlocked the desert. If she's ever not at the bus stop, she'll leave a little sign and you can take it with you. But anyway, these are really good for setting yourself reminders. I sometimes put them all over town. That way I can put things like their birthdays, what their love gifts are, and then maybe a budget gift. I'll go between either doing text signs or sometimes I'll leave a chest with all that stuff already. But it's nice to have both. You just have to be mindful about where you put them because villagers do destroy these if it's in a NPC's path. Fish ponds can now be emptied all at once without losing your fish. If you guys remember before, when you hit empty your fish pond, they would all just disappear and you would lose your fish. That's not the case anymore, so you don't have to fish them out one by one if you're trying to empty the fish pond. They will all just plop out at once and then you can collect them whenever you're ready. However, they can still be fished out one by one, which is really nice for just selling them outright or turning them into smoked fish and then selling them that way. My favorite ones to do are the lava eels because they do give higher priced roe, and then also the fish itself sells for a good amount. When I have 10 of them, I'll pull like 3 out at a time because they will repopulate themselves. This next tip, it's going to be a little bit of an explanation as well. When I first started watching Stardew Valley videos, I heard selling tea saplings was a really good way to make money. And I don't think I ever actually understood it. So I thought they were growing the tea saplings, but it turns out you just get the recipe and you craft them and then sell them outright. They have been nerfed since the 1.6 update, so now they're only 250 a piece versus the 500, but it's still pretty beneficial and a good money maker in my opinion. Especially since the way to unlock this recipe is just by getting 2 hearts with Caroline. And she's pretty easy to befriend since you can find daffodils by foraging, and if you give her the higher quality ones, you go up in friendship a lot more. On top of it, if you happen to already have a fish smoker or started with the Riverland farm, she also likes artisan goods like most villagers do, and smoked fish counts as an artisan good. So if you get a iridium quality carp, you can smoke that and gift that to her, and it's probably the quickest way to get the friendship points. And that's the last one, at least for today's video. I hope you were able to get something from it, and thanks for watching. All right, good night.